Whatever you think of Stephen Flynn, some people don't seem to think a great deal. I think a lot of Stephen Flynn. I like Stephen Flynn. I like his pluck. I like his determination. I'm not a supporter of the SNP, but I am a supporter of performance in Westminster and in Holyrood or wherever, whichever Parliament is significant, whichever political body is significant. I am a fan of people doing well, of people speaking well, and Flynn speaks well. I would like to see him everywhere. As for his plan to sit in both Westminster and Holyrood, that isn't without precedent, even if there are now rules against doing so. And he, I don't suppose he will take to heart Mrs Thatcher's advice. Do you remember Mrs Thatcher when she was asked, "Do you consider failure?" And she said, "Do you remember what Queen Victoria said? Failure. The possibility does not exist." And I think whether Flynn has actually recognised what Thatcher said, or whether he somehow or other got it inside himself, he is of the same mind. So his bid to secure a Holyrood seat while maintaining his role as an MP in Westminster encapsulates not only the friction within the SNP, revealing both strategic aspirations and the party's enduring contradictions, it also sums up his character. His decision, framed as a desire to participate more actively in Scotland's dual legislative arenas, has reignited the contentious issue of dual mandates. And the backdrop to this is an internal rule established before the 2021 election, largely perceived as a mechanism to curb potential candidacies such as Joanna Cherry's, which prohibited MPs from holding seats in both Westminster and Holyrood simultaneously. And this rule now threatens to complicate Flynn's ambitions, positioning the party's leadership before a critical decision could redefine the stance on dual office holding. His defiance, as articulated in his BBC interview, underscores the personal and political strain this situation has engendered, and he acknowledges the discomfort of seeking to unseat Audrey Nicholl, a current MSP whose constituency overlaps his own. But his defence, centring on putting the decision in the hands of party members, strikes at the democratic underpinnings he wishes to evoke. He cannot entirely quell the perception of political manoeuvring, but he does so with panache, doesn't he? The response has been divisive. Senior SNP figures, including Shirley-Anne Somerville, have openly called for unity and decried internal party bickering, while critics, both internal and external, point to hypocrisy. The SNP's past condemnations of figures like Douglas Ross, the Conservative MP and MSP, echo conspicuously in the backdrop of Flynn's campaign. The accusation of double standards from the likes of Rachel Hamilton resonates beyond partisan lines, emphasising a potential credibility gap for the SNP. And Flynn, along with Stephen Gethins and Dave Dugan, other MPs eyeing dual mandates, has forced the party's National Executive Committee into a bind. Should they uphold the current ban on dual roles, then they risk alienating ambitious members and limiting electoral strategy, and indeed the possibility of success. If they relent, they face accusations of inconsistency and rank hypocrisy. This dilemma compounds an already challenging period for the SNP, marked by internal restructuring and financial strains, including job cuts at its headquarters because of the dwindling donor support. Frankly, the SNP in Scotland needs Flynn. Flynn's defiance is emblematic of a broader tension within the SNP, the pull between maintaining unity and embracing the ambitions of high-profile members, set against the backdrop of a party striving to project both strength and moral coherence. His assertion of commitment to Aberdeen, to Scotland, and implicitly to the SNP's future may resonate with some as a rallying cry. Yet it leaves open the question of whether the party can navigate this period of internal contest without fracturing its carefully cultivated image of purpose and unity? I don't know. I hope Stephen Flynn survives this one.